Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Have you guys ever seen that Frosty the Snowman video or movie, whatever, and he's supposed to say Merry Christmas, but all he says is, Happy Birthday! That's what Happy New Year reminds me of. You've never seen it?
I can't even think of what you're talking about. Why am I struggling?
I'm not sure. Anyways, welcome to the living room in this glorious new year. 2022, baby. We've arrived. We've arrived. We've arrived. We've arrived.
That's
All right. Let us rejoice and be glad that it's a new year and a new opportunity for us to glorify God and make disciples. We're a ministry here in the living room that believes, first we believe, and second we share the gospel of Jesus Christ and how he heals and walks with us through every trial. We stand in agreement with what Paul was preaching to the Romans in chapter 8, verse 18, where it says, For consider it that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. We are grateful for an eternal perspective where we can hold the hope of Christ so close and dear to our hearts, and we eagerly await for his return.
That's right.
We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we would love if you would like, share, subscribe, blow up people's messenger, and just share this with the peeps, because one, it's a new year. And two, it's a new day for us to share the gospel of Jesus and all that God is doing for us. In order for us to do that and to be in community, something that's very important and something that we believe in is prayer. And we would love the opportunity to pray with you. We'd love the opportunity to pray for you. So if you have a prayer or a praise, type #prayer. One of us will get back to you as soon as we can, and how to pray and what to pray for and how to best serve you in this time. And we would love the opportunity to give away a Bible. So if you need a Bible, your family needs a Bible, someone that you know needs a Bible, your coworker needs a Bible, type #Bible and we will send you a Bible. You can never have too many Bibles. The importance of this book is so valuable, and it is so needed, and we cannot live without it because it's living and breathing words of God, and it's very important. And so I believe that everybody should have their hands on one of these.
That's right.
So, how's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Doing well, everybody?
Yes. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I got some good news over the holiday weekend. About a week-ish ago, the official social media drop that we shared with you guys in June was that I signed with the label, 1,000 Hills Music, and we are in the process of raising funds, and so we would love the opportunity, I would love the opportunity for you to sow into this project. I would encourage you to go to the website below, 1000hills.com, and read the post that has been written, a little bit about my testimony and the perspective, which is called the North Star of the album. And it's all pretty much based out of Philippians 3:10, talking about that we may know him in his suffering and the power of his resurrection, and that there's such an important, there's an important intimacy and being near and being drawn to Christ in our sufferings and not moving past the suffering straight to the resurrection. Like Christ went through a great deal of suffering before he was resurrected. And so I think it's important for us to do so as well. And so that's kind of the North Star of the album is Christ's suffering and how we can relate to that here on this earth. And in order for me to go to Nashville, finish recording and start recording, finish writing, all of that, whatever, we need some funds. And so my hope is that you would sow into this project. There's a link if you go to the website that you can click on, but the link is also below. It's www.generosityrocks /a-thousand-hills-music. That will go directly into our account as an artist and will give us the opportunity to fund this album.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a good new year, good holiday season. Just do it, everybody. Just do it.
That's right. You better sign with Nike too.
Just
Get
give.
to it. That's right.
Oh man, thank you for the support already. It's an exciting time, and I hope that you'll continue down the road. Anywho, Kate, Shelby, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, Merry Chrysler. Something that we always talk about is just the faithfulness of God and how He's moved in our lives. And I would love to hear from our listeners and our viewers how God's moving in your life, and how we can best serve you and best pray for you in this season. It's a new year, so a lot of New Year's resolutions have started, and something that it's just cool. I think it's a new year, but yet it's also like if we scale it back a little bit, it's also a new day, which means that there's new mercy for us to grab a hold of and use and just sulk and sit and dwell in. And so I think that's important.
Yeah.
All right. The next series for this wonderful living room podcast is the Enneagram and the Gospel. I'm pretty excited about this series, I must say. I've learned a lot about myself as I've studied the Enneagram and my number, and I've learned a lot about how to care for my friends in researching and just learning about their Enneagram number and how we are compatible and how, by the grace of God, we're friends. And and just how that works. And so I am overjoyed on that. And for those of you who don't know what the Enneagram is basically a personality type that deals with your core beliefs and your core fears. And so you have one Enneagram number, and it doesn't typically change, but you have 2 wings. So it varies between 1 through 9. And your wings are to the right and left of you. So if you're an Enneagram 1, your wing is a 2, and your wing is a 9. However, you do a 9 with one hand.
Hey, there it is.
So yes, it looks just like that. And so it is something that I think can be used as a tool to help you understand yourself a little better, but it definitely is something that cannot be used as an excuse or a crutch.
For sure.
It's definitely something that just helps you learn how to care for one another, care for each other better.
And I think, sorry.
No,
I was going to say too that I think sometimes it's like said too that like it's kind of daunting when you look because it's just like numbers and you're not a number. Like you might like just know that that's not your identity is not a number.
Right.
It's again, or the fact that like everybody is cookie cutter into these 9 things. We're all, obviously made in the image of Christ but our own people. Like God made you as you. So, but again, this is just a tool to like better learn about yourself or think, obviously things that you struggle with or your strengths, and then to, work to achieve things and just live your best life, but just kind of with a knowledge of who you are too, in like a sense of like these things. I don't know if that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
And within each number, there's such a vast array of differences too. So even if you're the same number as somebody else, you can look completely different than each other. And so there's a lot of movement within each number as well.
For sure. I am really excited I would love the opportunity to give our viewers and our listeners, one, an opportunity to take the test, but two, just an opportunity to pop on if you know your number and just share a few qualities about yourself, share what it looks like in your spiritual walk with the Lord, and how you feel maybe your Enneagram has helped, hindered, or anything like that with your walk with Christ, because we all have struggles, right? But we all have natural fallbacks that also could probably gain or cause some problems in relationships and boundaries and friendships and walks and avenues and all of that. So I think it's going to be very eye-opening for all of us, but we're all going to learn something.
That's all right.
And so later this week, take some time to take the test, whatever, and if you feel comfortable or you already know your number, share it with us, and maybe you'll have the opportunity to pop on if that's something that you love. Kate and Shelby, what are your numbers, and do you have a dominant wing?
Shelby, you want to go first?
Sure. So I am a 2, which is titled the Helper. And I feel like I tap into both of my wings. But my 3 wing is definitely dominant over the 1 wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am a 3 on the Enneagram scale, and I think I tap into both my 2 and my 4 wing, but I think that my 4 has been a very heavy in the past 2 years. So yes, but yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and the 3 is the achiever.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes,
for sure.
For those of you that don't know.
Yes. I'm an Enneagram 5. Which is titled as like the investigator, the quiet. What else is it? It's like the quiet spectator.
I mean, quiet period is just a great description.
True.
Like you said, investigator. Then I think of knowledge when I think of a
5. And I think my dominant wing is a 6, which is a loyal personality. It's one of my greatest gifts, but it's also one of my greatest curses. Unfortunately, it's got me into trouble often, but I have struggled, and my friends can attest to that, figuring out what I truly am. I have very fluid wings, and so there are many days where I would think that I'm a 4. There's many days where I think that I'm a 6. But when I dug into it and kind of learned about the core fears and the core beliefs, there was no doubt that I was a 5. Or I am a 5. And we'll dive into all of that and what that looks like. But so you've got 3 different types here, 2 that overlap, 1 that doesn't. But
we share a wing.
We share a wing. That's right. We share a wing. But if you know your Enneagram type, type it below. We're going to be posting a little bit in the next couple of weeks, and just giving you some information about the Enneagram type, what we're talking about. And I think we're going to start with type 9, the peacemaker. So if you know any peacemakers, Enneagram 9s in your life, send them our way. We would love the opportunity just to talk with them a little bit, learn from them, gain some understanding, and just hear how they have learned their core beliefs and how they've taken that to scripture and what that looks like. And I think that's how, so we can study the gospel better, is knowing ourselves and learning that, and then taking our faults and our greatest attributes to the gospel and using them accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what spawned the whole idea of doing the Enneagram. So we call this the living room because we talk about a lot of things, just kind of where our heart leads and what's on our mind. But so sometimes before, in all honesty, before we hit the record button, we kind of have conversation. And this is the conversation we had. And if we just kind of got on a tangent one day and we're like, this is awesome, because I think it was after one of our our spiritual disciplines series. It's kind of we all saw our own strengths and how we process the gospel, or like what our disciplines are and where we feel connected to God. So I think it was interesting too, because we started to see maybe there was an alignment with our Enneagram type and kind of what we were drawn to or what we felt connected with. So I think that's kind of what started it all. And I'm so excited because we can learn from one another.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. And I think too, like there's tests out there to take, but sometimes some numbers are harder to figure out just from the test. So, or
So
if you just
I can
are good at all the things.
No. I tested.
Yeah.
I tested with a strong, like my 5 and a 2 were the same.
Yeah.
And so I was very confused. I do have people pleasing tendencies and I do like to help people. But I'm not a 2.
You're not a 2. No, but you are very helpful.
That's right.
But so that's why like the test is like a good like launching point if like you have no idea about the Enneagram or if you're super new to it. But then I would also like Saz been talking about like core beliefs and core fears, and so like really looking at the motivations behind why you do the things you do is what will kind of really help narrow it down for what type you are. Because there's a lot of shared like attributes, like Sav's a 5 and she's very helpful, but she's not a 2 who's also very helpful. And so like, but it's based on different things like behind it, like the reason why I do something would be different than the reason Kate does it or Savannah does it. So the motivations are pretty key to figuring it out. So
touche. I'm pumped about this series, and so we just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up of what's to come. So starting next week, we will do Enneagram 9, which is the peacemaker. We'll talk about core beliefs, core fears, and kind of how to associate with a 9, what it looks like to be friends with a 9, how to love them well, and hopefully we'll find somebody who's an Enneagram 9 who can pop on and just give their own experience. And I think it's important to remember what Shelby said, that you can have multiple different variants of a 9. And how they manifest or how they show and present themselves are completely different each time, because we're all uniquely created in the eyes of God, yet at the same time all trying to serve one goal, which is to go and make disciples and just love the heck out of each other.
For sure.
So
yes.
I just have one thing to add.
Add it.
Sorry. I was just thinking some people may be like super camera shy or intimidated to pop on, especially if you're one of the like quieter numbers.
Like a 5.
Like a 5. So if that's if you know your number and you have things you want to share, but there's absolutely no way you would come on the podcast live, we would still love to hear from you. And so if you are a typer, like just type it out in the comments and we would love to enter into conversation with you through that, and then we can go over, we can read it or whatever as we do that. So
that's
just for our lovely introverted friends.
Yes, Savannah.
That is a great point. Thank you for adding that in. We hope to hear from you guys. Welcome to a brand new year of 2022, and we hope that the Lord, we know that the Lord will bestow His grace and mercy upon us. We hope that we would choose to receive it. And it's much less about us. It's much less about the Lord showing Himself and much more about our eyes being unveiled to see Him. He is here, He's moving, and He loves us. And so let's turn our gaze to Him. Let's tune our hearts to His accord. And let's just fall before Him in all reverence and all glory this next year. I hope and pray that you guys are doing well. If you need anything, prayers, praises, encouragement, just let us know. We're here. We're a community. And again, like we've said for almost a year, may you look to Jesus and seek Him above all else. We'll see you guys next week.